How to become magnetic through authenticity. Have you ever displayed a vulnerability or was being authentically raw and real with somebody and it negatively impacted you? You know what I'm talking about? Like maybe you opened up to a girl or a close friend, or there was a relationship where you actually were being authentic, or you opened up about something and you totally regret it afterwards, or you got negatively impacted due to your authenticity or your vulnerability, right? That's because there's a right way and a wrong way to go about being authentic. But when you do the concepts I'm going to explain in this video, you'll actually become a magnetic individual. Right? And I take a lot of pride in having a very raw, real, authentic, genuine personality, even online. All right? I think a lot of people have been drawn to my content because of the way that I communicate in a lot of my videos. And I want to show you guys how you could be magnetic in your own lives too, with women, family, friends, business. These concepts are universal. All right, so let's talk about some shifts you're gonna have to go through in terms of your perspective. And then also towards the tail end of this video, I'll show you the practical steps what you need to start doing today to become more magnetic as an individual, right? The first thing to understand though is that every single individual, I don't care how successful they are, how confident they appear, how attractive they are, what they've been through in their life, they've experienced highs and lows. All right, everybody has been through some shit. Everybody has downtimes. Everybody has had tragedies in their life. Nobody is just born and it's just this massive straight upward trajectory of wins, success, praise, right? And even the people that have that, they're very dependent on external validation because of that environment that they were brought up in. But most people, 99.9% of people, we've all been through some shit, man. We go through heartbreak. We go through deaths in our lives. We go through getting fired, having depression, feeling good one day, just waking up the next day feeling like shit for no reason sometimes. Like that even happens to me. I wake up for no reason, I feel down sometimes. I'm like, what the fuck, dude? Had perfect sleep, perfect diet. I still feel down sometimes, right? So understand that everybody in this world goes through that. That's normal. Emotions are cyclical as human beings. It's not gonna be up all the time. And that's a good thing because in the world, all we really see is the good shit. Most of the time, it's all fake. Like that's actually what it is. You need to understand most people have been through some shit. And then also, if you look at Instagram, TV, movies, your friends that you interact with, your coworkers that you interact with, your family that you interact with, the girls that you go on dates with, the whole world is giving back fake, fake emotion, fake love. It's all fake. That you've probably heard that like social media is fake, and it is. Because it's just a highlight reel. And sometimes it's not even a real highlight reel. It's fake. It's literally a fake highlight reel, and half of it's AI generated. And then you watch movies, and then you go to your friends that talk shit behind your back about you. Then you go to your coworkers who talk shit behind your back about you, who put on a fake smile, a fake persona, or the girls that you're going on dates with put on a fake persona in hopes to maybe connect or impress with the other individual. And then they go home, they disconnect, they go back to that one person that's really close in their life that they can open up to and be authentic and vulnerable with because they trust that individual. And then they tell them the real truth about how it went. You wanna know how the date went? Yeah, oh my God, I couldn't stand, right? or you're hanging out with a friend and then the one dude leaves and they're like, everybody just proceeds to talk shit about the other guy. Or you're watching a movie which is scripted and there's cameras, or even reality TV. It's all bullshit, man. Do you get that? The whole fucking world is bullshit. And that's okay. You just gotta be aware of this stuff, because the more you can understand that and accept that, we can start to use this to our advantage to actually become magnetic in a world full of bullshit, fake love, fake truth, fake AI, social media, TV, dopamine, drugs, lust, all of this crap, right? In a world just absolutely full of that, we can now be authentic. But the good news is that everybody craves that because the whole world isn't that. Nothing going on in this world is that. So when you can be the person that actually speaks that, people have a radar for that shit. We're so fine-tuned to the bullshit nowadays because it's everywhere. Every ad, every billboard, every person, it's fake or just polite. Not everybody's trying to be fake. A lot of people are just trying to be polite, right? But due to past experiences and all this stuff, either past experiences, past pain, or just insecurity or lack of confidence for one reason or another, we don't We don't go so deep and authentic and raw and real and genuine and vulnerable in interactions, let alone off of a first interaction or a first date, but even in friendships, even in content. None of it is real. So just by talking about the realness and the authentic stuff and the vulnerable stuff from a position of not being afraid to display those things, which takes practice, by the way, takes practice. You can't just, if you've never done it, you're gonna be you can't even say it. I remember my first girlfriend, I couldn't even say I love you. You know when I said I love you to my first girlfriend, 10 months into dating, when I was blacked out drunk, crying in the middle of a fight. We were in my mom's basement. We got into this fight and I was so mad because I couldn't communicate my emotions at the time. I was like 20 or 21 and I punched this wooden slider closet door. I punched it off the hinge and it fell on me and I was crying to my girlfriend. And that's when I told her, I love you. Because I couldn't even say it. I literally couldn't even say it. Now, I went through that whole relationship over the next 5 years, and thankfully I experienced that relationship because she slowly showed me it was okay to actually display emotions. Because me personally, I closed off from the world. My dad died when I was 12. I didn't talk to anybody about the death of my dad. I was afraid to go back into school. I was afraid to go back to school because the whole school wrote this card saying, Kyle, we're sorry for your loss. And then every individual in the school wrote this couple sentence paragraph about how we're so sorry and we can't wait to see you. And all I was thinking is, oh my God, everybody knows. Everybody's going to be coming up to me. It was a weird thing to lose your parent at 11 years old, 12 years old. I was so embarrassed. I was so embarrassed about the whole thing. I was so in pain about the death of my dad. I didn't talk to anybody about it. Didn't go to therapy. Didn't go back to the graveyard for 10 years. Closed off from the whole experience, man. The whole experience. I just buried the whole thing. And so when I got into a relationship, I just buried all of my emotions. I was not a good communicator. I became a dismissive avoidant because of these life experiences. And it wasn't until into my late 20s that I finally started to get comfortable opening up about these things. I got into social confidence, pickup, dating, cold approach, putting content online, interacting with people, coaching men. All of those concepts slowly showed me it was okay to talk more about my story, to open up about my story, to put myself out there, to get rejected, to be desensitized to putting myself out there and not being accepted, and realizing none of it's a big deal. Anybody that rejects me or doesn't accept me doesn't even really know me. The people online that talk shit about me, you don't know me, guys. You think you know me because you've seen a 0.1% sample of my life, and from that you'll make a conclusion about me, but you don't know me. If you actually knew me, you probably would love me, honestly. And I'm not saying that from a cocky place. I know who I am, and I know if we actually connected, I could see the good in you, and you would love me straight up. If you're watching this video and you made it 8 minutes into the video, you probably already feel more connected to me because of everything I'm trying to explain to you in this video. Like people are just putting up their best personality. They put their best foot forward, there's nothing wrong with that. Like, make a good first impression, come off confident, but like understanding a part of connecting with people and being magnetic and being able to separate yourself from the bullshit out there is through cutting through the polite screen filter and speaking authentic, real, raw, genuine, and a little vulnerable. But that takes practice. I was not able to talk like this in my 20s, guys. I'm halfway to 35 at this point. I've spent over 12 years talking about this stuff. I mean, I spent the first 10 years after my dad died not talking about it at all, but then I spent the next 12 years talking about all of these concepts extremely thoroughly. That's not even a word. But by doing the concepts I'm literally demoing to you in this video, you'll start to give off a more raw, real, authentic vibe to an individual. All right? And notice what I did. I talked about my past in a way where I wasn't scared to talk about the past. I talked about the death of my dad. I talked about my first girlfriend. I talked about me being so low level with being able to communicate emotionally that I couldn't even say I love you to my girlfriend. I told a whole story there, right? But none of it was done from a place of being unconfident, right? At no point in this whole video did I display lack of confidence. I'm talking about experiences that I went through that were painful and traumatic and a vulnerable side to me, but I'm not ashamed of any of this stuff. So embrace the sides of your life, the experiences that you've gone through, and the sides of your personality that you're afraid to talk about. Because if you can just own it and embrace it and accept it and put it out there unapologetically, it actually really resonates with a lot more people. Because back to the first 2 points of this video, it's that everybody's been through some shit. Nobody gets to experience other people talking about that shit though. They wait till they go home to talk to that one person in their life. Some people don't even have that person in their life. Some people don't even have an outlet to talk to people about that stuff. That's why I was against going to therapy for so many years, because I've developed the skills to talk about this stuff outwardly. So I was like, I don't need therapy. What the fuck do I need therapy for? I'm already living this shit. I'm the coach. That was wrong though. I do think therapy actually helped a lot in other ways, but I notice most people cannot talk. They don't have outlets to talk about their lives like this consistently. So there's no reflection. They don't go to the depths that they experience, and it's just bottled up in there, and then they live their life blindly going about it. And so when they hear other people talk about it, it starts to hit them on a certain frequency that really resonates with them. And that makes you magnetic as an individual, right? Now, you don't open somebody on the street and just trauma dump on them off the greeting, but actually very early on, you can get into a deep conversation. About 6 to 7 minutes into this video, I was talking about shit that most people will never even talk about with another individual or their friends. They can't even open up to their own friends. All right. So this is an ongoing skill set and muscle that you need to build up. You need to get accustomed to talking about your experiences. And when you do that over and over and over again, at some point you'll start to connect with other people on it, and it'll feel good. And you'll be positively rewarded for speaking out loud the experiences that you've been keeping inside. And then you'll become more confident with it. That's the place you need to get to. You need to get to a point where you're confident to talk about your story unapologetically, unashamedly, but you could go to the depths needed to become raw, real, and authentic and genuine. When you can do that, whether that's in dating, whether that's off of an initial interaction with a male or female that you meet out somewhere, that's how you can really connect with them. They'll get drawn into you. They'll walk away from that experience thinking, I really like that guy. I really like that. I feel different with that. I have a stronger connection towards that guy because you connected at a deeper depth with them. It's not just about success. I could pull up in a Lamborghini and another dude pulls up in a Lamborghini. I'll dap him up. What's up? Cool. We both kind of like recognize each other. That doesn't mean we're fucking boys. I could be at the gym in a beater or talking on a cell phone in a bedroom. I don't need to be on a stage in a suit to openly communicate about the depths of things that I've been through. And if someone hears that story, we will feel a connection because of that, because of me being able to display that authenticity. So being authentic, being comfortable, being vulnerable, being able to speak that out loud, which takes practice, but you can get there too. I was the lowest of lows with this shit, man. The absolute lowest with this thing. I couldn't speak about it. My dad died, cried, buried the pain, 10 years of just weed and video games escaping my life to not talk about any of it. Then couldn't communicate in my first relationship in my 20s. Literally could not communicate. It took me 5 years in that relationship to learn how to do it somewhat, and she still left me for another dude. Then I worked on myself for another 5 years, got into another relationship, and that one still didn't succeed. The relationship failed. We broke up, right? A big reason that relationships don't last is because of lack of communication, obviously, right? So the more you could build this skill set up, the stronger your connections, the more confidence you'll have within yourself, the more you realize society's all bullshit. Honestly, a lot of it is just fake out there. But as a result of that, you can use these skills to your advantage to become a really authentic, magnetic individual. All right. If you want to work on these skill sets to become more confident, to become a more powerful communicator, to level up your social skills, your self-development, and really just become top 1% of men, click the button down below. Check out the brand new coaching programs. You can work with me directly to improve all of these skill sets in your own life. All right. Click the button down below. That's all for this video, guys. Now you got to go out into the world and become more of a magnetic, genuine, authentic, real, raw individual as well. I'll see you tomorrow. Talk soon. Peace out. Let's go.